self-improvement is a trap that will keep you stuck, never truly reaching the actual results that you're doing this self-improvement for. I was stuck in this cycle for many years myself, so I get it. And quite honestly, you have to start somewhere, and self-improvement is a wonderful place to start. However, self-improvement is very limited. And until we really wake up and realize the limitations of self-improvement, we're going to reach the ceiling. We improve ourselves and we work on ourselves, and you're going to experience growth. For any of you that's listening, you probably have been in self-improvement or have been contemplating self-improvement. If you tried little bits of self-improvement, you will experience growth. That's just what comes with it. But what happens is you're going to reach this ceiling where it feels like you're stuck. Like you're not quite actually accessing your full power. You're not quite getting the results that you really want. And you're going to be confused, and you're not going to know why. Now, the problem is what you're really going to do in this moment is most likely try harder. You're going to try new things in the self-improvement space because you think that you're just missing something. So here's what I learned on my journey that completely flipped the script upside down and transformed my life in absolutely profound ways. That's how I built a following on social media of over 700,000 people. I have 400,000+ on Instagram. I quit my 9-to-5 job 2 years ago to start my own business, and now I live a life of freedom, and life is just absolutely magical. Now, that's not to say that there's not struggles in all of this. There absolutely are. Don't say that those are going to go away. You just learn how to operate in those more effectively, almost like a pendulum that's swinging. You probably know that like sometimes you're on these high highs and then it swings to the other side. You're on these low lows. What happens as you start to think about self-improvement and think about yourself from the perspective that I'm about to share with you is rather than be swinging on that pendulum, you begin to rise above it. And now you're sitting up here on top of that pendulum watching it swing. And so you get to experience those struggles and the highs, and yet you're not nearly as trapped by them, okay? So, what is the big trap of self-improvement? Self-improvement comes from this perspective that we are the version of ourselves that needs to be improved. And so then we go on this journey to improve ourselves because we think that we're not good enough just as we are. We're not confident enough just as we are. We're not cool enough. We don't have the ability to approach women the way that we want to. We're not strong enough in the gym. Our mindset isn't strong enough, whatever it is. We think we are the version now that's not where we want to be and that needs to improve in order to get there. And so the absolute disconnect that we have is that we are connected with a part of ourselves that's not us. We have labeled ourselves and own the label that we are that version of ourselves that needs to be improved. And so now we've owned that label. And what happens is our brain has a little thing called confirmation bias. And so whatever label we own within ourselves, our brain then goes to work trying to reinforce and confirm that label within ourselves. So if I feel I'm not good enough and need to be improved, my brain will go out into the world and find evidence for that being true. But likewise, if I own the label that I am an abundant being and a divine soul that has come to this earth as the universe itself expressing through this body, and I own that label and I know that and I feel that, my brain will then go to work in the world and start working on my behalf to confirm that belief. And if I believe that I'm abundant and divine and full of love, well, guess what? That's what's going to flow around me in my life. So the point here is that self-improvement is based on this egoic part of our mind, the mind that was really evolved to keep us alive. It's fear-based. It's scarcity-based. It never feels like it's good enough. It never feels like it quite has enough. And this is just an evolutionary mechanism to keep us alive over the millions of years that we were on a planet in which we needed to be a little bit fearful, because if we weren't, we might get eaten by a lion that comes around the corner. Or if we didn't fear being rejected, well, then we might actually get rejected from that clan that we were in, and then we're off to fend for ourselves in a world that was much less safe than what it is now. Well, so as part of our mind evolved to always be in fear and scarcity and lack and never feel like it's good enough and feel unworthy, so that we would try to do things in order to feel worthy. But we're now in a time in the world where this is all getting flipped upside down, and we're beginning to wake up to the truth in which you are not the version of yourself that needs to be improved, that is unconfident and needs to build confidence. You are the version of yourself that is already confident. Confident is the essence of who you are. Abundance is the essence of who you are. Love is the essence of who you are. Deep, connected relationships is the essence of who you are. You don't have to go out and build it because you're not already it. You have to go inward and find it within yourself and awaken and expand that and unblock all of the things, the belief systems, the programming that has been placed over it throughout your life to block that natural expression of your gifts, of your abundance, of your purpose, of your confidence, of your deep relationships. So we have to start switching the way that we're seeing ourselves. Start seeing yourself as this divine being, as the one that is good enough, and think about it almost like, if you don't believe this, right? If it's like, okay, well, easy for you to say, well, okay, first of all, I was in your shoes. I spent so many years, the vast majority of my life, not believing that I was good enough. I thought that I was unworthy. I felt like everyone was better than me. Everyone was cooler than me. And the one narrative that just constantly boomed through my head as I'm growing up was, I just wish I was as confident as that person. God, if I could just have that kind of confidence, life would be so much easier. And now, this is exactly what I do, and it's what I help people see within themselves. And I realize, in the way that I really truly access this confidence and this authentic expression and the clarity of my purpose, and I had the courage to quit my job and build a huge social media following and get to do stuff like this, it's because I realized that I was already that, and I was just misperceiving myself. But if you're having a hard time actually believing that, which you might at first, play with it. Just play with it. What if? What if I was worthy? What if I was already that in which I desired? How would I show up? How would I act? And close your eyes and feel into that feeling. What if? Just pretending as if you're already there. Feeling all of those feelings. Okay? And really sit with this idea that in life, we've taken on many, many beliefs from our parents and from our teachers and from society that have taught us to live, act in a certain way, to believe certain things about life. And you'll notice that when things come to you that make you kind of contract and get all defensive, those are the areas of your growth. That is where your ego is really turning up the dial and trying to defend, because you're afraid. You're afraid of being wrong. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of not being good enough. And so as we can begin to flip this and play with this idea that we are worthy and that we are abundant, and just playing with it, just imagining, just walk around your room and feel into what it might feel like to be that abundant being. Now you begin to ignite that light within yourself. Now you begin the process of seeing that light within yourself. So self-improvement is great. It will get you to a certain place, but it will only get you so far. And the reason that you're doing self-improvement is likely to get these extraordinary results. It's probably what you deeply desire. And so if you really want those results, the freedom, the abundance, the confidence, the love, realize that those results are already in you. Stop chasing, stop trying harder. Go within and feel that in yourself. And then your life will transform in exactly the ways that it's meant to, in ways that are beyond your wildest dreams. And it can happen faster than you imagine. So the key is to slow yourself down, to explore the idea that you might actually be a divine being that is abundant, that is purely lovable, that is love itself. Tap into that feeling breathe into that feeling. And if you felt moved by this video and you want more of this, then subscribe to this channel, like this video to tell me that you enjoyed this kind of content, and we'll see you in the next one, my friend.